Hello, I'm Mike Jacobi, executive producer of Jazz on the Plazz and host of Raising the Standards on KSCO Radio in Santa Cruz. Delighted to have you with us this evening as we continue Jazz on the Plazz 2017, our second week in our year-long homage to the great Billie Holiday. And with us, a dear old friend, Paula West. It's so good to see you. How long has it been? We've known each other.
Well, I don't know. When you said old, I go,
No,
really that old?
We've known each other probably 25 years.
No, because I
Townsend.
I started working there like in 91.
91.
So, and I didn't move to San Francisco until 88, the end of '88. So
it's been...
Don't try to push the years up.
It's been a while.
Yes.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
I'm so delighted. This is your fifth visit, I think.
Yeah,
to
sounds
Jazz
right.
on the
That
Plazz.
sounds about right.
There is always excitement in the air when you're in town, and I know it drives you crazy. Like my description of you continues to be
I love
my
it.
favorite jazz singer on the planet. So
Oh.
I'm just so delighted you're here.
Thank you.
Talk to me a little bit about what you're up to.
I was just in New York and performed at a wonderful club called Mesro that's been open the last maybe 2.5 years. They're owned by the same people as Smalls in the Village, and we did 2 sets, and it was standing room only for both, so that was a lot of fun. It was Emmett Cohen on piano, up and coming, and he actually we were talking about Ron Carter, and he is in Vancouver right now recording with Ron Carter. And Ed Cherry on guitar. So I had never done that configuration of just piano and guitar, and that was a lot of fun. And I'll be back there in December at Dizzy's for 3 nights, which will be nice
is
with the quartet.
Time Warner Center.
Yeah, Jazz at Lincoln Center. And
what is the room? You played it with Feinstein. That is
the Appel Room.
The Appel Room, which is, folks, if you get to New York, this is the most stunning venue because it overlooks Columbus Circle and Central Park.
Dizzy's.
Yeah, it does as well. The view from this, because it's right behind the stage.
Yeah, it is spectacular.
Magnificent.
So if you're not enjoying the show, you could preoccupy yourself.
Now, you used to play the Algonquin.
Yes.
Let's take a stroll, as they say, down memory lane of the great clubs that are no longer there.
Yeah, I did.
Because Algonquin was a really weird little club in terms it was long. It was very narrow, very long.
So you were either in your face,
right.
or you were in Siberia or something.
But what a great sound the room had! It was just a really long rectangle.
I did that for 12 years, and they no longer exist. The only one that exists now in that kind of setting is the Carlisle, really. Yeah.
Have you played the Carlisle?
No, that'd be a dream.
Yeah.
But that's kind of changed too, because they had the stalwarts. They had Bobby Short and Barbara Cook and Eartha Kitt were the mainstays there, and they've kind of changed things up a bit.
Well, we opened last week with Antonia Bennett, Tony's daughter, and Nestor Torres is nobody, and she had played the Carlisle, and I remember my wife's aunt was Dorothy Loudon. From Annie, and we were back and saw Bobby Short back. I loved Bobby Short.
Yeah. I saw
him
there.
What a terrific room.
More than a few times. So.
Were you the show that you did at the Appel with Michael?
Was
that the Bobby Short?
That
tribute?
was a tribute to Bobby Short.
That was so cool.
Well, I was there back in February, and I did a Cole Porter thing.
Did you? Okay.
At the Wild Room at Carnegie Hall. No, it was a bigger room at Carnegie Hall.
And then there's the Rose Room, isn't there?
The Rose Room is the big.
That's the biggest.
The big one. It's like a couple of thousand people.
We were talking off the air about little clubs and about Club 55, which is we're talking about Amy Savini being there. It's in the Village.
Okay,
right. Is it Bar 55?
Bar 55, yeah.
Which is, I mean, they're so iconic and.
I'm glad they're still around.
Really, yeah. Because it's like 12 people.
Because I went to the Vanguard and saw Russell Malone, and he was fantastic.
Was he?
Yes.
I'm thinking about getting him next year.
Yeah. Oh, he's just fantastic.
Okay.
And quite a character, too.
All right. That would be fun.
Yeah.
That would be fun. Let's do the obligatory talk because it's interesting and we haven't talked about it for at least a couple of years. How did it all come about? Was there an epiphany? Did you sing in a choir?
No,
Was there
I
a lot of
didn't-
music in the house? Anything, you folks?
I played clarinet
Okay.
growing up. We all played an instrument. My sister played clarinet. My brother played trumpet and tuba. But we all, played instruments growing up. But no one was in choir or anything. I
Okay.
wasn't.
Your folks musical at all?
I think they appreciated music.
Okay.
There was music in the house.
Okay.
It was my dad liked classical. He liked everything classical, R&B. So, he'd have Shostakovich and Ray Charles
Yeah.
and different things and once you're exposed to different types of music, because back then the schools. All schools, it was mandatory to either play an instrument or be in choir or take art.
They actually had music programs.
Yeah,
Go figure.
Yes, and also, I was first exposed to going to the opera when I was 9. So, they had programs, you go to the symphony or the opera. So, and once you're exposed to that, it always stays with you. Not everybody's necessarily going to perform, but you're going to have an appreciation that never goes away.
Right. But at what point? I mean, you're playing the clarinet in high school or junior high?
Started when I was like 9 or 10.
Okay.
And quit during the middle of high school because it wasn't cool anymore. That's a regret. That's the thing. I don't know anybody who regrets quitting an instrument. But when I was going to college and stuff, and I felt like I needed an outlet, and so,
But you weren't singing. I mean, you're just playing clarinet. I mean, so what made you put the
I was
clarinet down? And
I
said,
was listening to music always. I know I never had a voice that was offensive. So, and I'd always sing.
Set that bar high, girl. That's good.
Yeah.
I don't have an offensive voice.
Yeah, so I would always listen to other singers and
Yeah.
sing along. And then I did like this learning annex thing was my first thing. And then I thought, well, maybe I can sing once or twice a year, and so it just kind of, I started becoming passionate about it and was drawn to this, what we call the American Songbook.
Yeah, and you have, and God bless you for it, you have dived in or dove in full throttle, and you have the dust billows, because you've gone and you've looked for things that people just haven't seen. I mean, a classic example, one of my favorite tunes that you've done is a Gershwin tune, Looking for a Boy.
I'm going to do that tonight.
All right, wonder, because it's a terrific tune, but nobody knows it, I mean, and nobody knew it was a Gershwin tune, but that's so neat, and that, I think sometimes people only turn the first 2 chapters, but that book is a long book.
Oh, yeah. They're all like this thick when you have like the complete lyrics of Cole Porter and those books, and they also come with the verse and several choruses that people maybe haven't heard. So another one for me is Ethel Waters, because she was the one that introduced certain songs, and what she said about Harold Arlen. She said he was the Negroest white man she ever met. And, yes, she did. But she was really great because she had great diction and knew how to deliver a lyric and, told the story. So I'm drawn to people like that. Maxine Sullivan, people that necessarily aren't on the radar.
Now, did you go to a lot of films as a kid?
Yeah. Yes.
Big musical fan?
Oh, absolutely.
Big MGM?
Oh, yes. Yeah. Some of them I didn't see till later on, but then I was like, oh, that's where that came from.
Yeah, right. Well, yeah, and there's so many, as you talk about in the book, and they will give you the verses and the chorus, and so many of those were written for Broadway, and were part and parcel of a scene, so that's it had to set it up. So it's rare that, I mean, for years no one would do the chorus to Stardust.
Yeah, and most of those, you know, and
the
that's how I
verse,
got into the Broadway part, was because, you know, there's not a lot of musicals that were strictly written for film. So so I tried to, you know, it just struck my curiosity once I was exposed to certain tunes or shows. And, you know, where did that come from? So it's,
Well, and there lies the rub in that those tunes, most people wouldn't recognize the original arrangements of those tunes. Classic example of The Way You Look Tonight, which is totally different when Sinatra did it up tempo than Fred Astaire when he introduced it. That's got to be somewhat daunting, is to take an evergreen like some of those are, and to add your own magic to it.
I try to stay away from some of them, and it's interesting. Like, it's a benefit for a woman to look into a tune that's best known by a man, and vice versa. You know, if you can, you know, change the pronouns and everything, or whatever you want to do with it. So I try to actually, in every show, you have some familiar songs, and how can you make this one different?
Sure.
Because otherwise, there's no point.
I agree.
There's no
Absolutely
point.
right. We're gonna take a quick break, and before we go into a break, I want to point out that our buddy Satchmo, your French bulldog, is here, and that's not my stomach growling; it's him. So don't anybody accuse me of that. I want to take a moment to mention our new sponsor this year, O'Connor Hospital, a part of Verity Health, and we're delighted to be associated with them, and we thank them for stepping up and helping keep jazz alive. We'll be right back to Jazz Tonight and talk about the great Billie Holiday.
At O'Connor Hospital, we're restoring health together. Step by step, together. Because care is better together. O'Connor, together in health. At O'Connor Hospital, we're shortening your wait time. Because in an emergency, every minute counts. This is our commitment to you. O'Connor Hospital, together in health.
I'm Michael Jacobi, executive producer of Jazz on the Plazz, with our good friend, and by the time you see this show, you'll be kicking yourself because you may well have missed it, and I hope you didn't, because Paula West is in town today. The last time you were here, we had just started our kind of theme. Was it Cole Porter when you were here the last time?
Duke Ellington.
It was Ellington, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you were here last year, of course.
Yeah,
All right,
yeah.
we had Ellington last year, and we're doing Billie Holiday this year. You were talking about songs that sometimes, depending on where you're at in your career, that you may or may not be ready to sing. I guess Lush Life's the classic example, depending on your age and your outlook. And I don't know if you will have done this song by the time you've seen this, but Strange Fruit is the kind of song that is you just hear so rarely. Is that because she owned it?
Now I feel bad that I'm not doing it.
It's still early in the day.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, no. Well, I don't. That's such a deep song.
Yeah.
And
Well, you're not tapping your feet.
It's, but that's not one to do with about age. It's about.
No, I know that,
yeah,
but that's
yeah.
experience, though.
Yes. But I've had people that, what's the Shirley Horn one? The No Complaints, No Regrets, that one.
Yeah.
And, someone was in their 20s trying to sing that. And I'm, no. Here's to Life.
Yeah.
How do you sing Here's to Life when you're in your 20s? Or 30s or 40s?
Although
wait.
Strayhorn wrote
Lush
Life when he was 16,
he had
but
quite
he'd had quite a life
but he
going
wasn't,
into that.
Yes,
Yeah.
he did. Yes. So for me, what I'm going to do is they're going to be a little more up-tempo ones, the Billie Holiday. I'm going to do Give Me a Pig Foot
Yeah.
and Them Their Eyes.
Yeah.
And maybe I'll do Please Don't Talk About Me.
Oh, cool.
So, yeah.
Cool. Billie Holiday, and I was saying this on the stage the other night, what is amazing to me is not only the profound effect she's had on vocalists, but the effect she's had on musicians as well. I find that remarkable.
Yes. Because when we were talking the other day about you know, Lester Young. She and Lester Young were
Yeah.
like brother
gave her
and
the name, yeah.
sister, and Louis Armstrong was great influence on her, also.
What did she mean to you?
Well, she was one of the first people I really listened to as a singer, and one of the first people that I grabbed up albums back then
Yep.
to buy. But one thing you learned about her is she didn't sing the melody exactly. It's like if you listen to her first and then you turned around and listened to Frank Sinatra or Ella Fitzgerald, where those are the people, and Peggy Lee. Those are the people I would listen to if I wanted to learn the melody.
Right. Yeah.
So, you know, she put her own trademark on everything she did. And that's why, you know, that's where her improvisation came into without scatting or anything.
Right. And that's really interesting. I mean, the first thing that in jazz you think of improvisation is scatting for vocalists, but she didn't scat.
No.
What was? I would think that it was a tremendous effect on Dinah Washington as well. Her
She
preceding Dinah.
She influenced everybody, but I know that Billie Holiday was influenced by Bessie Smith.
Right. Yeah.
As well as a lot of other singers. And I would probably imagine she was influenced some by Ethel Waters too, because they call Ethel Waters the mother of us all as far as singers.
We have, although I'm delighted with our wealth of talent here today, this week, but later in the year, I want to say it's July 26th, a friend of yours is gonna be in town, Natalie Douglas,
Yeah,
who I'm really excited about. I have not seen her.
and she's a wonderful person too, nice person.
What is her record label is called? Old Negro Records or something.
I didn't know.
It's very, or Negro Sister Records. It's very funny. She were laughing about it on the air. But she, and you're going to come to that show.
Oh, definitely.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Definitely.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, I'm gonna make
We'd
it.
reel you up on stage.
Huh?
We would get you up on stage.
Oh
We'd do-
no, it's
two of you'd be fun.
you know, but she's and just it's nice to have people, fellow singers, musicians that you know you can hang with and talk with and get along.
Yeah,
with.
let's
And
all
most
have
of
dinner.
them are like that.
That'll be fun. So okay, what are when you tour, you're up at Feinstein's coming up for a couple of weeks.
Yes.
And do you do a lot of is that essentially a residency when you do 2 weeks to a month to 6 weeks?
Right. Try to do mostly an all new show. I was another reason why I was in New York the last couple of weeks. I was rehearsing with Bruce Barth, who's going to be playing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and he's
Cool.
recently done some things with Mary Stallings, and he was with Max Jazz. He was one of the producers of a lot of the Max Jazz albums. So I was out in New York rehearsing and putting the show together and trying to get an interesting mix of tunes for that. It's not just all standards, of course.
Well, you have stretched the American Songbook, or you haven't stretched it; it's been there.
Yeah.
But you know, the classic examples like a Rolling Stone, which
we always put a Dylan song in.
and which you and what other Dylan tunes have you done?
I've done it. Well, I did a whole Dylan
It's All Right,
concert at SF Jazz a couple years ago. So, and I've Subterranean, Homesick Blues, Like a Woman. I've done about at least I think 12 tunes now.
Have you met
and
him?
of course, In My Dreams, and of course now he's won, you know, a Nobel Prize for Literature.
Yeah.
And I think deservedly so. Some people don't, but
Absolutely.
you know,
Absolutely.
but we're also. But I'm putting in a John Lennon song this time.
You know, and there are tunes by, and I don't mean to do a hierarchy on this, but you know, you have the Rodgers and Hart, and then you have, it's I guess just in terms of popularity, but guys like Jimmy Webb who have written some of the most wonderful stuff in the world.
Yes, I do.
Like
I've
Did
done
We?
Wichita Lineman.
Right.
And also another Glenn Campbell. I've done maybe 3 songs. By the time I get to Phoenix, I'm not sure if that's Jimmy Webb or not. And, and also Gentle on My Mind.
Yeah. What a sad story about Glenn Campbell. And I mean, it's a sad story for anybody, you know, going through the dementia and Alzheimer's, but to forget, you know, all that he had.
I mean, you know, the Beach Boys wanted him to join.
Really?
The group, because he was like a studio musician for him.
Perhaps the best studio guitarist ever. I mean, he was amazing.
And you know, they had wanted him to join, and he says, "I'm going on my own."
Well, like tonight's show in the Plaza, the show has flown by, and as always, it's a joy to see you.
Thank you.
A joy to talk to you.
Thank you.
Are you ever going to get a website? Did you deciding what the folks? We're getting close. We're working on that.
Yeah,
We're working on that.
yeah. And we have a nice group of musicians playing tonight too.
Who do we have?
We've got Adam Shulman on piano, John Witala on bass, and Greg Weiser-Pratt on drums.
Okay.
So
good deal.
Yeah.
It's good to have you. A delight, and welcome back to Los Gatos.
Thank you very much.
Even a year is too long to have you away.
Oh, thank you.
Paula West. That's Jazz Tonight. Thanks again to the folks at Ocala Hospital, part of Verity Health. And a quick reminder that my producer, Melissa Torrent, over here, and the good folks at KCAT TV do an amazing job. If they keep these cameras up, I'll look thinner and even tanner. And Satro's still over there. So anyway, I'm delighted. Next week, we'll be talking to Tony Lindsay, lead singer of Santana. So thanks for watching, and thank you for helping keep jazz alive.
In other words...